Ukrainian troops have captured another group of Russian soldiers in Dobropillia direction in eastern Donetsk region. The video shared in Telegram channel of the 1st Corps of the National Guard of Ukraine, Azov, shows captured Russians thanking Ukrainian soldiers for sparing their lives and keeping them alive in line with the Geneva Convention. The Russian servicemen were captured by soldiers of the 4th Operational Brigade of the National Guard of Ukraine, Rubesh, jointly with the 82nd Separate Air Assault Bukovina Brigade. In pursuit of successes, the Russian command sent the occupiers into an offensive in the hottest spot of Donetsk region, Dobropillia. The Russian attack failed, the defense forces stabilized the situation, and these soldiers were simply lucky to survive, Azov wrote on Telegram. Furthermore, Azov called on Russian citizens fighting in Ukraine to surrender as this is their only chance to survive. The Corps stressed that 69 Russian invaders were taken prisoner over the course of a month of active combat operations in the Dobropillia direction, where units of the 1st Corps of the National Guard of Ukraine, Azov, along with adjacent and subordinate units, are holding the defensive line.
Мы, военнослужащие армии Российской Федерации, выражаем свою благодарность украинским военнослужащим за сохраненные жизни и обращение согласно условий Женевской конвенции.
On September 7, leaflets with the logo of the main intelligence directorate of Ukraine were distributed in Moscow, containing the inscription, "Responsibility is inevitable." According to a source of Liga, this is connected with the celebration of the Day of Military Intelligence of Ukraine. The publication reports that such leaflets were placed in different areas of the Russian capital, on fences, public transport stops, poles, in parks and even on the walls of apartment buildings. Their content reminds Muscovites of the inevitability of responsibility for crimes committed against Ukraine. The source added that after all that Russian forces have done on Ukrainian territory, it would be naive to expect that fair retribution will bypass the aggressor. Residents of Moscow could allegedly prepare for special congratulations from Ukrainian intelligence in the near future. The source did not provide any other details. Earlier, the military of the main intelligence directorate of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine congratulated the Russian occupiers on the Independence Day of Ukraine by distributing leaflets with a special message. This was reported on August 24 by the main intelligence directorate on its official Facebook page. The entry says that the scouts celebrated this holiday with an act of mass delivery of field mail in various directions of the front. The leaflets remind the occupiers of the inevitable end of their stay, death, destruction on fertile Ukrainian lands and further hell. To ensure that the message had a more significant effect, the intelligence officers accompanied it with volleys from multiple launch rocket systems, emphasizing the seriousness of their intentions, the HUR added. Also, the main intelligence directorate of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine showed exclusive footage of the Black Sea operation that took place in August.
The research group Russian Elite from France presented a report on the growing discontent within the Russian elite. The aging dictator Putin, who will turn 73 in a month, continues to drag the country into archaic conservatism and a policy of prohibitions. Even the political strategists closest to the Kremlin admit that they can no longer tolerate this style. The focus was on a publication by Maria Sergeyeva, a political strategist and advisor to Oleg Deripaska, who is linked to the team of influential Kremlin official Sergei Kirienko. She called the patriotic community of guardians cockroaches, emphasizing that these new allies of Putin turned out to be much more unpleasant than the liberals. Sergeyeva writes, "The reptilians were suddenly replaced by insectoids, real cockroaches who, under loud phrases about how our boys are fighting in the SBO or about the need to protect traditional values, realize their ambitions and complexes." According to Sergeyeva, this is about an obsessive attempt by new patriots to penetrate the private lives of Russians. They have the only correct opinion about what we should eat, what we should drink, who we should live with, and how we should dress. There is no real concern for spirituality and morality there. The main conclusion: this circle has exceptional narcissism and a desire to feel power over others. I don't have the strength to look at this shame anymore, Sergeyeva concluded. As the research group Russian Elite notes, the circles loyal to the Kremlin are increasingly tired of the archaic narratives of power and repressive policies. The elites are ashamed of the primitive slogans, but at the same time it is clear it is impossible to change the situation because the source of these narratives remains Putin himself. The aging dictator wants to make life in Russia the same as it was in his youth, under the USSR, closed, suppressed, obedient, and with a large number of prohibitions on everything from personal to public life. Recall, Russia is entering a phase of instability. Official statistics from the Russian Interior Ministry confirm the worst fears. Putin's army, which has partially returned home, has brought the war with it. Violence, terrorist attacks, and serious crimes are breaking historical records, turning the country into a zone of constant threat. The military hysteria of Russian propagandists, the instilled atmosphere of hatred and snitching are also poisoning the minds of Russians. Putin's military adventure is beginning to pay off, not at the front, but on the streets of Russian cities. This is what the Moscow Times writes. According to the Ministry of Internal Affairs, 170.8 thousand serious and especially serious crimes were registered in the country in the first quarter of 2025 alone. This is the maximum for the entire period since the start of the full-scale war with Ukraine. The growth, compared to last year, was more than 13%. Large cities and depressed regions are seeing sharp spikes in violence, and society is increasingly becoming a victim of its own war heroes.